Hey, what's happening? Well, I can tell you what's been happening on this side of the world. Not a whole lot of much. Besides a pile of paperwork. I've been trying to just get all the paperwork sorted out for this thing. Been a little bit of an effort, to be honest. And there's still one more item that needs to be filled in, submitted, returned, before we can fly. So before that happens, I'm not going to take the Foxhound to the airfield. Can stay here where hangarage is for free. Not paying hangarage until that final piece of paper comes through. Then we can literally take her down there, pull the wings out, put the bolts in, and hit the sky. What we have done in the last week, we actually skipped a week, is we've drained the fuel tank, the header tank, and measured the amount of fuel remaining after the fuel low light comes on. That we've done. Plan now is to try and figure out how much fuel is in the header tank when the fuel low indicator is illuminated. So what I've done is I've set the fuel low indicator to indicate a low level at sort of just below 3/4 on the fuel gauge, and then what I've done is I've lifted the aircraft up to what's pretty much flight attitude to see, well, I assumed by changing the pitch of the aircraft I'm going to have changed the attitude of the fuel tank and then change the fuel sender unit's position. So I adjusted the indicator to show below 3/4 with the tail on the ground, so I assume it will underread when it's at flight attitude. So although it should still read low fuel at the same position, I should now have less fuel in the tank than what I would have when it indicates that same low level in flight. So this would be the worst case scenario of how much fuel I have remaining when the fuel light comes on. So what I've done is I've lifted the aircraft up, put it on a tail stand to get it at flight attitude. Heath Robinson version here with a box and a tail stand. But if we take a spirit level and we place a spirit level on the horizontal stabilizer here, you'll have a look and see that we're not quite at flight attitude. So we're not quite level. Okay, so we're not quite at a level flight. We're pretty close. So if we lift the back of the spirit level up, that's level there. So what, we're about 10 millimeters out. So we'll take that as a fairly negligible amount to deal with. So just going to have a look and see what the fuel gauge reads. Yes, the fuel gauge is coming up now. This is at flight attitude or level flight, so I'm assuming it will underread. Okay, that's exactly where I'd set it with the tail on the ground. So the fuel sender unit actually doesn't alter all that much from changing in attitude. That's cool. So what I'm going to do now is a pretty tedious job of measuring, drain the header tank, the remaining fuel. So we're going to drain it out of 1 litre increments. So every 1 litre, pour it in the storage drum below here until this tank is empty. And we're going to measure how many litres remain in this tank at the low fuel indicator. there it is, it's empty. So we hit the beach, then we got stuck. Then someone else got stuck. And then we hit the beach again. And we had a good time. So as you can probably notice, I spent a little bit too much time on the beach. My face is a little bit more tan than it was in the last episode. But we'll get back into it next week with getting the final bits and pieces sorted out before hopefully the paperwork all comes together. Right, so please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like this video if you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.